Hey guys, Norbach here, and I wanted to bring you another video about Warrior Lock Shaman versus KFC, and the strengths and weaknesses of that comp. That way we can try to get an idea of what we're playing against these days. So, to start off, the strengths of Warrior Lock Shaman would be you have a lot of defensive abilities as a team. I mean, you have the group health stones, you have the safeguard from the warrior, which allows him to take less damage. You have the spirit link from the shaman, you have nature swiftness from the shaman, and you have healing tide. So you have a lot of actual AoE defensives, and then you also have the last stand for the warrior that'll affect the group, and that's really a big thing to look at when you're looking at this comp. That's a huge strength, I believe, and that's not even to go into the abilities that are just for like the warrior or the warlock or the shaman. Next off, that you can freely switch between most targets due to lock dots, and that's always been a huge strength of WLS, especially if you're running with the UA lock. I guess some people might try to run with the destruction lock, but I was running with the UA lock when I shot this video for you guys. Another big thing would be the crowd control abilities of the WLS. It's really, my lock was running with Blood Fear, and I had Intimidating Shout and Shockwave, the normal stuff, and I was also running with the Root because it's really nice being able to get the 5-second root on people while you're playing with the warlock versus like a mage where they share DRs. And finally, you can really wear down a team or win a fast-paced match if necessary. I mean, everybody knows that warriors have a lot of bursts right now, but if you time that burst with in conjunction with the crowd control when the healer doesn't have a trinket, plus they're fully dotted up, your lot can pretty much just continue spam CCing while you finish off a target. And that's definitely a huge strength of WLS that I've always enjoyed when I've played this comp in the past. So, moving on from this into the weaknesses. And there's definitely some key points to be made in the weaknesses. There's definitely always going to be the chance that you'll get global in the opener. And I don't just mean that they're going to come in and blow all their cooldowns and you're going to die. I mean, you're definitely going to do your best to fight this. But there's always the chance that you could come in and you could get scattered and trapped. Your healer can't dispel you, so you have to trinket and you trinket. And then their pally runs up and hodges you, or the druid cyclones you. So you just always have to be worried about that type of stuff. And in that time, your teammates can go down. Just like that against KFC, especially if you get an unfortunate map. And with that, definitely they have a lot of instant CCs, which is just really strong with their fears and their scatters and their traps, and depending on what healer they're running with, of course, and their shockwaves. So it's just really deadly openers versus KFC if you guys, especially if you get caught out of position. And another thing besides getting caught out of position, if say I were to trinket one of these opening things and they caught onto that and came around and shockwaved me, and then maybe had a healer with a stun, like a capacitator totem or something like that, I could very well die inside of that stun if I don't have a trinket, and then they pop their cooldowns while I have no way of popping my defensives. So that's definitely something that you really have to watch out for and pay attention to. Did they pop their cooldowns? Should I use my stuff to peel? You know, stuff along those lines. Next, this is always a sad thing, but if you're running into KFC on Ring of Valor, your chances of losing really does greatly increase, as you really have nowhere to escape to, and that's definitely a rough part. And with that, I mean, I basically hit some of the main points, but I'm going to go into the clip and I'll kind of go into detail about what you do in different types of situations. I actually have a few games here for you guys, so hope you guys enjoy what you're about to see. So here we go. First game's on Blade's Edge. We want to kind of get up there and get off the bridge to gain our position, but I still don't want them to both charge in, so I'm going to go ahead and go and meet them in the middle of the bridge. So right off the bat, just like I said, the healer wants to try to test me with crowd control, and he's going to go ahead and try to hex me, and at the very last second, 0.2 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and toss my Spell Reflect up. That way that he really doesn't have time to react and cancel his cast, and we can actually get a good start, and I won't be hexed. So that was my intention here, and so we go ahead and start the clip with that being played out, and then I'm going to go meet up back with my team and try to hopefully peel the start. So I'm a little bit too far to charge in, so I'm actually going to leap in here, and I'm going to shockwave both DPS, trying to provide some peels so my teammates can get good positioning. And the Hunter's already popped his BM, so it was a good stun. I actually get rooted here and try to intervene out, but it was on DR from the Shaman Nova. And basically right here, we're just trying to peel. My Shaman's dropped Healing Tide, trying to counteract any damage they're doing. And they've actually got some big cooldowns popped right now, so we're a little bit worried, but we just want to try to survive through it. And about right now is actually the time that I communicate to my Warlock. I'm like, hey man, you really got to get out of the open, that shaman's just standing up there free healing. And he's like, yeah, you're right. So what we do then is we try to move underneath the bridge, trying to pull the shaman out of position and maybe get a couple seconds of LOS. And that's what we're actually doing here. And I, again, just trying to peel right now, trying to peel their damage and try to set up ours once we actually survive. And the second we go under this bridge, the pressure just starts building super quick. And as you can see, the Hunter's already used his deterrence. I just get Shockwave. The Warrior's going to go ahead and fear out of that. So I know they're down some peels, and the Hunter's coming out of deterrence. And I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here. You can't really see from this angle quite yet, but as the clip will begin to play, you'll see that the Shaman's actually around the pillar. And this is one of the best ways to get a kill as a WLS. And the reason for that is, obviously, he's LOS, can't heal his teammate. His teammate's already below 50%. He's about to come out of a defensive. So the fact that he stayed in our line of sight and kept out of his shaman's line of sight was a big problem, because I actually have all my damage. I have all my stuns. The warrior has literally nothing to peel me. I have my trinket. So this is an absolute opportune moment to get our damage in and get the kill. And we did this a lot this night, and there's just no way they could really counter it. And if you keep watching, like, you'll see that the next part, like, I just pop my damage and he has no chance. As you can see, the shaman's coming around the corner, gets an instant heal off, but just there's no way you're going to counter a warrior when he's got that kind of damage and he's that low with dots on him. As well, the shaman already had used his trinket, the hunter was out of trinket, and my whole team had like everything up, so they really had no way of coming back from that one. And two main things where we jumped off the bridge, and also they followed us. The shaman tried to stay up top. We moved under the bridge. Shaman jumped off, put himself in a bad position, was worried about, getting dotted or swapping for some reason. I don't know, tried to keep his good positioning, and it ended up not paying off for him, and his teammate ended up LSing just a little bit too long and gave us a kill. So that's one way to beat KFC, is definitely good positioning as WLS and just kind of decaying them down and stopping their cooldowns and then maximizing yours. And basically, just putting your team into that position will always help you to get that victory. That's the main point. And just not blowing spell reflex at the beginning of cast. Use your damage when healers crowd control their line of sight. That's almost necessary if you want to really play the comp at its top level. Definitely conserve trinket if all possible, so you can either survive, kill, or peel. All three of those are the three main things you should use your trinket for, not just to use it, in my opinion. And with that, we'll go to the next video. And so we're starting off here on Ring of Valor. I want to, again, try to stop at least one of them from getting to my teammate, and he's going to go ahead and actually fake cast his Hex twice there at the start, and I actually blew my Spell Reflect, and the Hunter used his Root on me. So again, they got a really good start this time compared to what we had last time, and it's also Ring of Valor. Here we were kind of fortunate enough to see that the pillar went up, and they actually had blown some cooldowns, so we communicated as a team. We're just like, hey, we gotta get off here. They popped some cooldowns, and so the pets are all stuck up there now, which that was actually hugely lucky in our favor. But our locks still have been dropping really low. We popped some major cooldowns for each other. I've already trinketed. We don't have near the advantage we had at the game before. Their shaman's in a good position. Again, anytime there's a totem down or something like that, you notice I just took out the healing tide. Keep that in mind. It's really a huge deal if you can kill that. Like our pressure just turned around on them immediately afterwards. So now we've forced their Spirit Link, their Shaman's Trinket, their Shaman's NS, I believe. So he doesn't really have much. So after the Spirit Link, they don't have their damage cooldowns, but we still have ours. So again, real fast, they're down cooldowns, they're down their damage. So I call for a switch on the Shaman, and really he just doesn't have anything to fight us. And if his teammates don't come to peel, especially if the Hunter's sitting in a Blood Fear like he was right there, they have no way of coming back. So you just have to really watch to see, did they use their cooldowns? What do we have left? What do they have left? And even though I didn't have Trinket, it was okay, because the swap to the Shaman was to cut their pressure and gain pressure ourselves. Basically said, hey, let's make them peel so that we can do damage. And if they peel, we might not get the kill, but if they don't peel, the Shaman's dead for sure, because he's already used his major cooldowns. And that's really the way you beat KFC. And just to leave you guys with a couple more points that I think you should watch for if you personally play this comp. Really watch for Stampede, Beast Mastery, Avatar, Recklessness. Make sure that these cooldowns have either been used when you go offensive, or that you've tried to counteract them in some way before you go offensive. Really make sure you peel their damage enough to go offensive while maintaining your damage. Because if you try to go offensive while they're on you, I guarantee you're not going to win that fight. The amount of burst that they have is going to do much more than what that Warlock will be able to help you do to them. What type of defensive or offensive cooldowns have you forced, and do you have enough left to play really offensive? And what I mean by that is, can you kind of overextend a little bit without being too worried about them swapping to you and killing you? Do you have a trinket? Do you have defensives? Does your teammate have defensives? And that's a lot of the stuff you just really need to watch for. And then finally, the main point, after you've kind of tried to peel their damage and or get your damage going, is what type of positioning does each team have? Are they out of position? Is their healer in their line of sight? Is he out of their line of sight? Just like the first game, really, that healer was behind a pillar, his hunter was overextending, trying to force more cooldowns, and really we just counteracted every step that they made the entire game. And that's really what you need to do as WLS to get the win versus KFC. And that's exactly how WLS does really well, I believe, if not just KFC, but against all comps, is if you really put the pressure on while the healer's in a bad position from a fear or just his teammates are overextending. And do that, and you can probably get a win every time. Thanks, guys, and hope you enjoyed the video.